Look at a typical Let's Play video, and you'll usually find a familiar dynamic. A creator, sitting in the comfort of their brightly lit room, firmly in control, reacting to digital monsters through the safety of a screen. Indian YouTuber MythPat starts his playthrough of Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 exactly like this. He treats the game's horrors as a complete joke, even mocking the terrifying monsters by threatening to turn them into huggy-wuggy momos and snipping off pieces of their plushies for fun. But at 3 a.m., that safe environment fractures. He discovers his wife, Urmila, is mysteriously missing from their bedroom. Instead of finding her in the kitchen, he finds a bizarre ransom note delivered through an eerie new plushie. The game's main villain, the prototype, has supposedly crossed into reality and kidnapped her, promising to chop her up and make biryani as revenge for MythPat's earlier mockery. This diagram illustrates a narrative structure we can call blended reality. Instead of keeping the creator and the game entirely separate, the boundary dissolves, pulling real-life stakes directly into the digital world. The stakes shift. MythPat enters the factory on a desperate, simulated rescue mission. This framing device immediately strips away the usual safety of a reaction video, turning a standard Let's Play into an urgent, character-driven cinematic narrative. Once inside the game world, MythPat has to learn to survive all over again. He is forced to navigate the dark, decaying factory using complex new tools, like grappling across gaps with magnetic hands, just to stay alive. The environment itself is actively hostile. He quickly learns that the prototype is a master mimic, manipulating voices and audio cues to confuse the player and keep them completely off balance. Scattered memory disks offer fragments of the factory's dark history, pulling his focus away from immediate survival and toward the tragedy of the mascots. The audio logs revealed that the giant, terrifying mascots chasing him, Huggy Wuggy and Kissy Missy, are victims of horrific, forced experiments, turning these supposed monsters into deeply sympathetic prisoners. This chart tracks the video's emotional tone. It begins at comedy, dips to horror, and plunges into tragedy. Generating sympathy disarms the player, priming MythPat and the audience to drop their guard for the narrative twist. By replacing fear with empathy, the game lays a psychological trap that makes the player far more vulnerable to the coming narrative shift. The tension sharply escalates when MythPat is forced into a deadly, high-stress game of red light, green light against a creepy, singing toy, where a single wrong move means a jump scare and a game over. After barely surviving, the game offers a fleeting moment of warmth in the darkness. He witnesses an incredibly rare, emotional on-screen reunion between the two tragic mascots, Huggy Wuggy and Kissy Missy. But the relief lasts only seconds. In a sudden, brutal ambush, the prototype crashes the reunion and violently murders Kissy Missy right in front of him. MythPat's reaction is instantaneous and visceral. He drops the comedic persona entirely, genuinely disturbed and outraged by the sudden execution of a character he had learned to pity. In that exact moment, his motivation in the video flips. He abandons the initial premise of rescuing his real-life wife. Now, his singular goal is hunting down the prototype and extracting pure, unadulterated revenge. This clever piece of emotional manipulation works perfectly. It transforms MythPat from a passive gamer reacting to jump scares into an active, vengeful protagonist, driving the story forward on his own terms. The narrative peaks in a high-octane train chase. Instead of running away, MythPat actively takes the fight to his tormentor, aggressively trying to destroy the villain once and for all. He pulls levers and smashes control panels, intentionally crashing the train in a desperate attempt to crush and burn the prototype in the flaming wreckage. But the revenge plot fails. As the smoke clears, the prototype emerges from the debris, heavily battered but still very much alive. The monster swiftly turns the tables, capturing MythPat and sealing his character inside a dark, suffocating toy box. Within the strict logic of the game world, the hero has suffered a total defeat, leaving the viewer to brace for a grim, unresolved ending to the rescue mission. Then the video abruptly snaps back to reality, instantly shattering the heavy digital illusion he spent the last 30 minutes building. We see MythPat sitting in the dark of his bedroom, pathetically clutching the Huggy Wuggy plushie. He is practically in tears, apologizing aloud to his wife for failing to save her from the coming monster biryani. The tension evaporates completely when the real Ormula casually walks into the room. She is perfectly fine, confused by his crying, and explains that she simply got up to use the washroom. The humiliating realization sets in. There was no kidnapping, no crossover villain, and no high-stakes rescue. MythPat just spent the entire night screaming at a toy and fighting for his life in his own imagination. This reveals the brilliance of the video structure. It uses the intense, immersive horror of the gameplay to set up a massive, self-deprecating real-world punchline. MythPat didn't write himself as the triumphant hero who conquers the digital realm. He purposefully designed the entire script so that he would be the unwitting victim of a hilarious, embarrassing prank. The success of this format relies on a complex, blended reality framework. By weaponizing his own vulnerability, the creator transforms a standard Let's Play into character-driven cinema.